A profound tragedy has struck the heart of our nation's defense forces, leaving families and the entire country in deep mourning. In the dense and unforgiving terrain of the Sambisa Forest in Borno State, a heavily armed faction of the Islamic State West Africa province launched a devastating surprise ambush against our brave Nigerian troops. This dense forest has unfortunately served as a notorious stronghold and operational base for insurgent groups for many years. The brave soldiers who fell victim to this terrible surprise attack were members of the 21 Special Armor Brigade. According to the details emerging from the frontline, these dedicated military personnel were actually out on a vital clearance operation. They had received credible intelligence about the movement of these dangerous elements and were moving in to secure the area. However, at exactly 6:45 in the early morning, while the sun was barely coming up, they were suddenly ambushed by a massive group of heavily armed fighters who used the difficult forest terrain to their massive advantage. The visual evidence coming out of this specific encounter is completely heartbreaking. A highly distressing video that has surfaced shows the heavy toll of this sudden confrontation. In the footage, the lifeless bodies of several brave personnel who paid the ultimate price for our nation's security can be seen. Even more emotional is the sight of surviving soldiers desperately trying to save their wounded brothers in arms. Because they were deep in the forest, away from immediate hospital care, soldiers were seen standing over their injured colleagues, physically holding up intravenous feely bags with their bare hands to keep them alive while waiting for medical evacuation. This is a stark reminder of the incredible daily sacrifices made by the men and women in uniform who are fighting to reclaim the Sambisa Forest. For over a decade, this massive geographical area has been exploited by insurgents to build training camps, establish holding centers for abducted citizens like the Chibok schoolgirls, and plan their campaigns of violence. As we continue to uncover the sheer scale of these recent security breaches and bring you the verified facts from the front lines, I want to take a brief moment to ask for your support. If you truly value a news platform that honors the sacrifices of our troops by telling the absolute truth without sugarcoating the reality on the ground, please take just 1 second to click the like button. Liking this video is the most powerful way to make sure this critical national security update reaches millions of other citizens who need to know exactly what is happening in the Northeast. Also, please make sure you hit the subscribe button right now and turn on your notification bell. We depend entirely on your continued support to bring these vital, strictly factual updates directly to your screen. So please, join our growing family before we dive into the massive coordinated attacks that happened just hours before this forest ambush. What makes this Sambisa Forest tragedy even more alarming is that it is absolutely not an isolated incident, but rather part of a massive, highly coordinated wave of violence sweeping across Borno State right now. Just hours before the forest ambush, between the late hours of Thursday night at 10 p.m. and the early hours of Friday morning at 3 p.m., the state witnessed an unprecedented level of aggression. Insurgents launched simultaneous, well-planned attacks on 4 entirely different military bases located in Konduga, Mainok, Jakana, and Marte towns. The attackers arrived in massive numbers, divided into different groups that eyewitnesses said were simply too large to even count. They opened heavy fire on the military facilities, leading to a fierce battle that stretched straight through the night. During these intense overnight attacks, the invaders managed to set fire to expensive military hardware, including armored tanks and various military transport vehicles. Even more concerning for the future security of the region is that they successfully made away with an unquantifiable amount of military ammunition before retreating. However, it is very important to note that the military did not just stand by. Our troops fought back aggressively and reportedly eliminated scores of the attacking terrorists while successfully repelling the coordinated invasions. This aggressive surge in militant activity is creating a massive humanitarian and security nightmare for the entire region. This latest string of violence happened barely 24 hours after another horrific event in the Ngushe community of the Gwaza local government area. In that particular incident, attackers stormed the 82 Division Task Force Battalion base around 1 o'clock on Wednesday morning. After targeting the military position, they callously turned their weapons on the civilian population, invading a camp for internally displaced persons. They killed several innocent people and abducted an unspecified number of women, dragging them away into the darkness. The military has suffered extremely heavy losses in leadership over the past few weeks as well. Earlier this very month, a highly respected senior officer, Major Ibrahim Mairiga, alongside several other soldiers, lost his life defending a forward operating base at the Banki Junction along the Bama to Gwaza Road. And just back in February, during another heavy attack on a military base in Jacana, the nation wept as 7 military personnel, including a newly promoted lieutenant colonel, were killed in a brutal ambush. The sheer frequency and the heavy coordination of these attacks are raising very serious questions about intelligence gathering and the current defensive posture of our military in the northeast. When heavily armed groups can simultaneously attack 4 separate military bases in one night and then successfully ambush a Special Armor Brigade the very next morning, it forces us to deeply evaluate the situation. Do you think our troops need a completely different strategy and much heavier air support to finally clear out the Sambisa Forest? Or do you believe there is a fundamental intelligence failure that is allowing these attackers to move in such massive numbers completely undetected? Please take a moment to drop your honest, highly detailed thoughts in the comment section below, as your unique perspective is an essential part of this crucial national conversation.